What up, what up, what up? I'm AC Cruz. You know who you are. Welcome to the podcast. I don't know why, but when I'm on vacay, I always lose my voice. And you can hear it right now. But that's not going to stop us with this special birthday edition. Birthday episode. That's right. Today is Roberto Pulido's birthday. El Primo! El Primo Roberto Pulido celebrating his birthday today. And we got some special guests. Herrera, Lucky Joe, Chente Barrera, David Farias, even my compadre Bobby Pulido is doing their best impersonation of El Primo. It's going to be great. And they'll talk a little bit about how El Primo touched their lives. So, let's get started. Jackie, hit it.
On the next AC Cruz podcast.
First up, we got El Hijo de Roberto, Bobby Pulido. Aside from doing his impression of his dad, he explains how he got tricked into doing a demo for the record label with his dad. Now, let's jump back to that because you say picking the right songs because what brought you on the map, brought you on the scene was Contigo, a song that you did with your dad.
That was an old song. But that wasn't a plan. That was
tell me how that happened.
It was an accident,
For the people
man.
that didn't know that, please tell us.
It was an accident. I mean, I was going to St. Mary's University, and I was back home, and my dad says, "Hey, record this song with me." And I'm like, "Dad, I don't want to be a singer, man. I want to be a lawyer." And he says, No, but I just want to have something como un recuerdo para mí. And I was like, okay, fine. So we did it. And unbeknownst to me, he went and showed it to the label. And so 3 months later, I'm in college, and my buddies come over and say, "Hey, can you sign me an autograph?" And I said, but I had no idea. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about, man?" And they said, "No, okay, you're on the radio." I said, "There's no way, dude. You're fucking with me." That's what I was basically telling them. They go, no, you're on the radio. And I said, and I thought, oh man, my dad, dude.
What the fuck?
And sure enough, I called my dad from the dorm because back then there was no cell phones.
Yeah.
I called him from the dorm, and he's like, "Chingao, mijo."
That sounds like you.
Pues es que no pensaba que le iban a sacar. And so he starts talking, and I'm like, "Dad, I told you, man." And the song took off. And so
I remember.
Then EMI said, "Hey, we want to sign you." And my dad's like, "No, he's going to college." And I said, "You better be quiet." I said, "You started this."
Yeah. That's it. You started it, Robert. It's your fault. I think that was pretty slick, don't you? Next up is David Farias. It's quick, it's funny, and it's David's version of El Primo. Recently, Roberto Pulido was here, and he says, "You know what?
¿Qué pasó, Primo?
Please,
Roberto.
Please do it.
¿Qué pasó, Primo?
Everybody's got their own impression of Roberto Pulido.
That's Roberto, man. I love Roberto, man. He's the same guy, hasn't changed. ¿Qué pasó, Primo?
Anyway, when Lucky Joe stopped by, he shared an experience about fruition. His mom said it was going to happen, and it did. Lucky Joe on El Primo, Roberto Pulido. Check it out.
You know, one time Roberto Pulido was singing, and I was like sitting down, picture this Indian style, in front of the TV, Sunday morning. You got the barbacoa sizzling in the back. You got the big red y las tortitas, and we're all...
Paint me a picture, man.
Yeah, and we're all watching, Johnny Canales, and I'm in awe, man. And she says, "¿Te gusta, mijo, la música?" She tells me. I says, "Sí, mom." She says, "Un día, mijito." I was 10, bro. 10. "Un día, mijito, tú vas a estar tocando en silla de Roberto Pulido." She told me like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay, mom, pues I'm 10,
Sí.
Then years went by. In my hometown at Cachelso, que en paz descanse, Mr. Bene Layton.
Yes.
Bene Layton y los hermanos Layton, they had a band, and he was also a teacher for Ed Cachelsa district, and he would teach this program called La Estudiantina. And that was basically a class with guitars, mandolins, upright basses, and it was like a choir, but Mexican choir. I would call it. And when I was a freshman, I wanted to join that class because I knew of Mr. Layton, and Mr. Layton actually would go cut his hair at my mom's beauty salon. And she would tell Mr. Layton, "Oye, Bene, mi hijo, que mi hijo sabe el acordeón y le gusta tocar y le encanta la música y que he's going to be a freshman this year and I want you to enroll him in your class. I want you to allow him.
Sí.
So, total que I enrolled in la estudiantina con Benny Layton. And, you know, I started playing the guitar. He started teaching us how to play the guitar. I started learning how to sing. And then I would see him play the accordion. And I told him, Benny, or no, sir.
Sir.
Okay, sir, can you teach me how to play the accordion? Y he says, sí.
Tíralo loco.
Basically, me tiró al león, vato.
Sí.
And following day, can you show me how to play the accordion, sir?
De huerco necio.
Dijo, sí. And then I would go home and my mom would be like, ¿ya le dijiste a Bene que te enseñara cómo tocar el acordeón, mijo? And I said, sí, mom, I've been already telling them for a week, pero pues no me
pela.
No me pela. And she's like, pues, ¿quieres aprender? Pues tienes que preguntarle, you know. So anyway, 2 weeks went by, AC, man. 2 weeks went by. And he says, I asked him again. He says, look, Lucky. Me decía Yaki. Look, Yaki. Yaki yo. Me decía, look, Yaki. I want you to take this with you. El acordeón, AC, estaba en un suitcase. It wasn't in a regular accordion case. It was in a suitcase. Sí, un beliz. And I used to walk home every day. So then I took it with me. And I took it with me home. And he says, see what you can get out of it. I came back. I already knew. Retírate. And I took it out on the big accordion now. And I came back and I said, mira, sir. Mira lo que aprendí. He's like, está bien. And he grabs the accordion. He says, this is what you need to learn first. And he does the G scale, I remember. But he does this like this. He'll go. Se la quita y me la da. Go ahead. Practice on that. Gets up and walks out of the room. And I get the accordion and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Totally oblivious to it, man. And it's a funny thing, man. When I turned 17, Roberto Pulido calls Benny Layton and he tells him, Oye, primo. Dice, ando buscando. Everybody says primo.
Impression of Roberto.
Oye, primo. He says, oye, primo, ando buscando músicos para mi hija Almita.
Sí.
And I'm there because I'm in the office with him.
Sí.
I was always stuck to Mr. Layton, man. I was always by his side on his office, and he says, hey, ven pa acá, mira. And he puts Roberto Pulido on speaker. Yeah. He says, oye, primo, ando buscando músicos Palmita, va a ser su grupo, ya tenemos música, pero we're looking for some young musicians, and you don't know of anybody. And Bennett looks at me, and he says, you know what, Robert, I'm looking at one right now. He's an excellent accordion player, and I would highly recommend him. His name is Lucky Joe. What? Dice Robert, what? Dice, yeah, Lucky Joe. He says, bueno, mira, me lo mandas mañana, me lo mandas para acá, dale mi dirección, manito, y que esto, que el otro. So I went and I tried out, and this was the tryout, man, with Alma Pulido. Check this out. I went, they had a big garage in their property, and this long driveway, man, and there's this humongous house, and there's 2 tour buses in the front, and I'm like, what in the world am I doing here, man?
What did I get myself into?
What did I get myself into? I get off, and the garage is closed. The buses are parked in front, and then I hear just somebody say, we're in the back. So we go around the back. Está Roberto Pulido sentado en una picnic table. His cousin Cheese, que le dijeron Cheese, sí, next to him. Y el vato tomándose una nice Coors Light.
A huevo.
Con una guitarra, una guitarra, 12-string guitar.
Sí.
And I'm looking at him and he says, ¿qué pasó, manito? ¿Quién eres tú? I said, I'm Lucky Joe. Hola, Mr. Roberto. Yo soy Lucky Joe. Mr. Benny Layton told me to come. He says, saca el acordeón. Saqué el acordeón. And he says, tócate un chotis. We played it. Tócate una polka. And he's me está acompañando, bro. Sí. Me está acompañando. Tócate un guapango. And I play a guapango. Okay, you're in. Let's do it. Almita, le habló a Almita. We started right then and there to practice with Almita, man. I was just freaking out.
That's awesome,
Crazy,
man. That's
man.
awesome.
Deja tú. We would open up a lot for her dad.
Yeah.
You know, and one time, brother, I'm just going to tell you this real quick. One time, we opened up for her dad, and then they had recorded a song together. And she says, I want to call up my dad at this moment because I want to do this song that we did on my album, I think, or something like that. It was called Imposible. We're playing, you know, and she's up there singing with her dad, and I'm playing the accordion. And I look to the side, AC, I look to the side, and I look at him, and there's this light, man, just coming. I just see his silhouette, his hat. And I just remembered, man. I was like, un día, mijito, tú vas a estar tocando en silla de Roberto Pulido. And I just looked. I'm not even going to lie to you, AC. I stopped playing. I took my accordion off. And I went to the back of the stage. And for the life of me, brother, I could not stop bawling, bro.
Wow.
I could not stop. You know, she had passed away, and like maybe, well, I was 15. 2 years prior, she passed away when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
But I guess it hit me so hard because I didn't grieve the proper way, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have time to really, you know, realize what I had freaking lost, man, you know. Yeah. It took me 2 years, and when I saw him standing next to me, bro, her words popped into my head. I just got off. I went back. They finished the song. The band finished the song. They all came outside. I was still bawling. And they're like, what's wrong? I couldn't talk. But you know what? That just goes to show, man, que la bendición de una madre es muy importante, man. Es lo máximo.
Our next guest is Chente Barrera. Chente is a big fan of Roberto, Los Clásicos, and he's been wanting to do a tribute to Roberto. Check it out.
Of course, you were talking about Roberto Pulido early on, and I decided to do a tribute album for him. And this has been 2-3 years in the making, man. We've been messing with this thing, and finally I said, you know what? Now that we have the time, let's record it, let's finish it. You know, because his music, you know, if you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all, man. I mean, it's very, very, you know, unique. It's very authentic. The accordion playing, the saxophone harmonies. I mean, there's just so much to it. You might think it's simple, but there's a lot. There's a lot
to it, especially when it comes to Lionel. Lionel played the hell out of. Come on now.
There's no other Lionel. I mean, God rest his soul. There's no other. So it kind of surprised a lot of people because it was very non-Chente. You know, it was something different.
This is classic Roberto, but with a new flavor.
It's a tribute to, you know, the clásico, la música que pues, that's inspired me, man. That's influenced me. I mean, if it wasn't for that group, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be playing, honestly. Like I said, I decided to do this, and I talked to him, and I said, Roberto, I'm gonna do this tribute CD for you, man. You know, you've been a big influence in my life, and dice Roberto, pues todavía no me muero, ¿esto qué estás haciendo? Y le dije, hombre, le dije, pues todavía no me muero, ¿esto qué estás haciendo? Le dije, I want to do this when you're alive, bro. You know, I mean, you know, so we can all celebrate, you know.
And that's exactly what we're doing, Chente. Celebrando el Primo, Roberto Pulido. Our next guest, before we turn it over to the birthday boy, Ram Herrera. Great story with Ram, Emilio, and Roberto. Check it out.
And we went to do the Johnny Canales show down in the valley, and Pulido invited us to his house. On a Sunday.
Everybody.
It was on a Sunday, and he invited to his place, and he lived in Edinburgh. En un rancho ahí.
He's in a beautiful place.
Beautiful. And so we went over there, and we were there all day, and you know, and he was showing us his shop where he does all this. You know, he likes to do jewelry and stuff. Yeah. Showed us all the animals he shot, his pool room. It was really nice. We stayed there. He goes, hola, primo, mira, buenas noches. Es el cumpleaños de la esposa de Gordo.
Wait. You have to understand. Wait. You have never done a podcast with me. No, wait. Hold on, Ram. You've never done a podcast with me. The people that have been in here do an impression of Roberto Pulido. That's why
Well, he was the king at his time. Well, he was the top dog.
But anyway, so go ahead and give me Roberto Pulido.
Yeah. He goes, we had been drinking all day,
No.
And he goes, Emilio, compadre Emilio, ven para acá. Es el cumpleaños de la esposa de Gordo. Y vamos a ir a la medianoche, a las 12 de la noche, vamos a ir a cantarle las mañanitas, órale. So it was like 7 o'clock still. We had like 5 hours, and we're just...
Sí.
So, and we didn't even rehearse it. We knew everybody knows the song. So
Exactly.
So he and Pulido, we're driving around in Pulido Suburban, and we go to this little area where there was like a bunch of double wides, right? And he goes, chinga, no me acuerdo cuál es. He takes off his hat, he scratches his head. Es una de estas, yo creo que es esta aquí. And it was dark as hell. It was like, hear crickets going and everything. He said he would leave the light on, so there was a light on. So we, out of the one of like 5 big trailer houses there. So we go to the window, we start singing. And then the light goes on the other one. And it was Gordo. Acá, mundao, aquí estamos. We were singing at the wrong house. Emilio cracked up laughing. He fell down. And he was drinking a beer like that. He got it all over me. And me and Pulido look at each other. We're laughing. We just cracked up laughing, man. It was hilarious.
Oh, my God.
That was a great man. I got a bunch of memories of
I'm
with
sure you
women.
do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you do. That's why we're going to go ahead and turn it over to the birthday boy from the archives. Back in December 2018, when he stopped by the podcast, it's Roberto Pulido, Eloy Pulido. Enjoy. Happy birthday, Robert.
After 45 years of being La Onda, El Primo is still grinding, doing it his way, and there's no stopping him. Roberto Pulido and brother Eloy Pulido chat with AC Cruz about their humble beginnings. Giving back to the community, his scholarships and endowments, his latest has been put on hold, and he'll tell you why. Not to mention his 45th anniversary celebration that will be epic. I'm Jackie Lynn. All this and more on this episode of Cruise Control with AC Cruz Behind the Mic.
How do I say this? It is an honor, a privilege, a joy to, what can I say? I've known this guy, he says, since I was 10 years old, but I don't know. But I will tell you this. When I moved down to the Rio Grande Valley, these guys, the whole family, made me feel so welcome, so at home. We're talking about La Familia Pulido here with me right now. Roberto Pulido, Eloy Pulido. How you doing, brother?
Pues ni muy, ni tan, nomás so.
And he's got the same intro for every time.
Nunca se le cambia, no se le quita, brother.
I mean, hay que ser claro. I mean, you know what I mean? Yo soy quien soy. Y no me parezco a nadie. Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, Robert. First of all, Eloy, I have to send my condolences to you and your family of the passing of your mom recently. Was it 2-3 months
Thank you,
ago?
brother. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I appreciate it, okay?
September the 13th, actually.
She's in a better place.
Oh, man, she is. Oh, absolutely. I got to tell you.
You know what? Before, I don't want to interrupt you. She told me about 3 weeks before she passed que, ¿sabes qué, mijito? Tu papá ya quiere que me vaya a descansar. And I said, Mom, no. And then you know what? She went downhill y todo eso. Cuando ya me di cuenta que she didn't eat for 13 days, I said, Lord, por favor, llévate a la mejor para que se vaya a descansar. And that night she went, okay? Y me siento bien contento en el sentido de que, ¿sabes qué? Está con mi padre en el cielo y también está con mi hermanito. And I tell you what, I don't cease to thank the Lord por los morales que nos enseñaron. I remember my dad saying something, mijito, los dichos eran bien cortitos, pero very true. You know what? Te voy a poner una bien fácil, okay? Digo, son, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
Stuff like that. You know what? And I praise the Lord for los años que nos prestó mi madre, 86 años.
Así es. Eloy?
Pues, igualmente, AC, for one, it's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you.
And you were talking about when you went down to the valley, bro. Man, I remember the good times que te pasamos con Don Max and yourself.
Sí.
And all the other friends from KBFM. Entonces, ¿y qué pasa as well?
But I will tell you this though, even at B104, I remember going by your dad's house right there by the train depot, and I go by and see him and sit down and talk with him, and your mom would always offer me a drink. ¿Quieres algo para tomar? Sí. No, doña Pulido, no, estoy bien. Y luego, tu jefe siempre me platicaba tantos historias, y la historia que your dad and my dad did not get along for some reason. I don't know what happened.
No, on the contrary, I was going to tell you. Tú estabas chiquillo cuando yo conocí a tu padre.
Quiero saber cómo sucedió con your father and my dad.
They got along a todo dar, but they came from the old school. Right. You know what I mean? Y muchas de las veces, los que vienen de la escuela vieja, it's a different ball game. You know what I mean?
Sí.
But I remember your dad very well. I mean, no por nada, pero you had a brother, Peter. Ese fue donde empezó un poquito de desorden, pero you know what, a finales de cuentas, hermano, you know what, my dad before he passed away, me dijo, ¿sabes qué, mijo? Vamos perdonando a todas aquellas personas que nos han hecho daño, me dijo, ¿ok? Le van a tener que contestar al Señor. The bottom line is this. La mentira dura mientras que la verdad llega. Y llegando a la verdad, ¿sabes qué? Van a saltar cáscaras. Como quiera, you know what? It's sometimes, like the latest song that we recorded, okay? Me jugaste chueco. What I like about the song es lo que dice. Ojalá y que no te cobren. Vas a sentir lo que duele. Nunca lastimes a nadie, porque un día se te devuelve. Nadie se va de este mundo sin antes pagar lo que debe.
Así es, eso sí es cierto. Nadie se va de este mundo. Móchate, cabrones. But like I said, I don't know if you knew this, but my dad came by to see me in Edinburgh, and I took him to your dad's house. He had no idea I was taking him there. Get out of the truck, Dad. Where are you taking me to? I said, come here, talk to him. And your dad says, Chavarria. Hey. So they started talking again. Yeah. He says, I can't believe you did that to me, AC.
You know what? En este mundo, hermanos, pasamos buenas y pasamos malas. That's part of life, okay?
Así es.
My dad would tell me, Roberto, no puede ser todo puro dulce porque va a empalagar.
Sí.
Tiene que haber un poquito amargo para que puedas agradecer lo bueno. And that's the way it is, you know?
Exactly.
You live and you learn every day.
And I also told the story, Robert, how I was trying to find somebody to get a co-sign my light in Edinburgh when I first moved there. And I saw you at the stoplight in front of the courthouse. You said, AC, what are you doing here? I said, Roberto, ¿cómo estás? You were driving your Silver Eagle bus. Yeah. And you said, ¿qué estás haciendo? We started talking. I said, I moved here to Edinburgh. I need somebody to sign my light. You said, vámonos. And you co-signed for my light, man. You don't even remember that, do you?
I tell you what, so many incidents that I've been through, man. I tell you what, I could write a book.
I know, and I want you to write that book. Or find somebody to do it for you. Anyway, like I said, you guys, your whole family have been good to me. Eloy, tú me sientes, I mean, you made me feel good también. All the time, man. Y por eso te doy las gracias.
Pues, AC, no por nada, brother, pero, you know, you've been a brother to the family. You know, and por eso, you know, when you started doing what you're doing, you know, for me it was so important. And then you asked me about, you know, if there was any way that Roberto could come by, and I said, you know, as a matter of fact, I said we'll work it one way or the other.
When I heard about his 45th anniversary, I wanted to help get the word out.
But because we don't forget, así como está diciendo Roberto, we don't forget where we come from, brother. Y al mismo tiempo, we don't forget the people that we've met along the way. And you know, I mean, te estaba diciendo about the prank that you and Don Max pulled on me.
On your birthday.
Yeah.
Llega, se salió el perro.
Me dice, Robert, I don't know if I ever told you this.
No, I don't know, but I mean...
We had him on the radio for his birthday, but he didn't know it was us because we pretended we were his neighbors and we were complaining, hey, come get your goddamn dog, man.
Sí, y me dice este cabrón, me dice... Eli Don Max dice, you know, your dog just dug up all the flowers, our flower pots, and I'm thinking, but chinga, we have a kennel, and we've got them, you know. I said, sir, I don't know what's happening. I said,
pues no tiene que haber nada. Get your ass over here, get your dog.
Le dije, sir, I said, please. I said, let me get up and find.
No, ni madre, no.
It was like 6:15 in the morning. Y él me dice, y este terco, sir, I'm telling you, le dije, bueno, ¿qué chingados quieren? y salta la risa. AC Don Max.
Happy birthday, Lloyd.
Happy birthday, hijo de su patada. But the relief that I felt, bro, when you guys started laughing.
Oh, man.
Was tremendous.
You guys are awesome. And you know what? The time that I was down in the valley, I knew that I could always count on you for everything, man. Both of you guys, but for the whole family. Let's talk about, I know I have listeners that don't know where Roberto Pulido y los Clásicos started.
Well, éramos laboreros. I mean, we were migrants. Okay?
In La Vizca.
Sí, nosotros, we used to, I was 3 years old, but I still remember Florida, y luego 54 fue Washington, entonces, from then on, fue puro California, you know, we did Durango, Ciruelo, and you name it, we did it, you know what? But I think that made a better person out of me, and mis hermanos también, for the simple reason, hermano, que sabes que Chihuahuas, back then, no había ayuda del gobierno, que estampillas, ni nada de eso. If you wanted to eat, you had to work, okay? And the bottom line was this. My dad, en vez de me decía, cuando estaba, que no había trabajo, mijito, vamos pidiéndole al Señor a la noche, pero con ganas, mijito, and he'll come across. Y mira, por mi madre, que está en el cielo, Chihuahuas, every time entraba dinero para seguir para adelante, ¿me entiendes?
Sí.
Te estoy diciendo, I mean, like, and I remember when I graduated from high school, I told my dad, ya estoy harto de trabajar la labor.
Sí.
He dijo, son, that's why you need an education. I didn't have to go through all that.
Ándale, caro.
But I tell you what, I got a 4-year scholarship. Ahí at a Pan American College and then luego Pan American University. And I tell you what, hermano, okay, I've been blessed, okay? I've been blessed for the simple reason that, you know what, when they offered me that scholarship, now, for anybody that's listening right now, at the University of Texas in Edinburgh, in Brownsville, there's some money available for any student that wants to go study music under Roberto Pulido Music Scholarship Endowment. There's money available there.
Do you still have that going?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I do remember doing the MC. You remember that?
Absolutely.
And I told the story. I couldn't believe this man has got this scholarship program that he's doing, this endowment for all these kids that are seeing a better future. I forgot what I said, to be honest
All
with
I
you.
did, you know what, it was give back to the community. Why not help out anybody that needs some help?
I told that story about you helping me get my lights turned on. And you now teaching these students, showing them a new light. I said something like that. It was pretty moving at the time.
I see. Let me tell you a couple of stories, bro, that I don't know if Robert remembers, but I remember one time we were coming from California. We were touring in California, and we stopped at the Petro in El Paso to diesel up. And then, so estaba una familia ahí, and they had, their truck had broken down. And it was a transmission que se había quebrado. And, I mean, they were, if you could see their faces. Estaba el papá bien mortificado because he had his family.
Sure.
And they were going to go work. Entonces nos recordó a nosotros of the hardships that it was just to get to California to go work. And the man told Roberto, pues vieron el voz and we asked him, we said, hey, pues que, ¿cómo estaban? Dijo, pues no, dijo, es que se fregó la transmisión, dijo, y en un mecánico le había dicho that it was going to cost about, I want to say about $1,300 to get it fixed. And this man, Roberto, pulled out some money and gave the man $1,300.
Right then and there.
Right then and there.
On the spot.
And the man just kind of, his eyes teared because he couldn't believe, no esperaba. And, and I remember also, and Robert, but he's humble enough where he won't tell you when people used to go to his house with kids in their arms que estaban bien enfermos and they had no money to take them to the doctor. And this man would give them money to take them to the doctor.
I believe that.
Cuando se puede, ¿por qué no? ¿Me entiendes?
Sí.
A la larga.
Cuando hay.
Sí. Y hay veces que, ¿sabes qué? Anda uno con los brazos cruzados. But I tell you what, for many people that do not really know toda la onda de un servidor y la familia, okay? We were migrants, okay? But I've been blessed, hermano, okay? I've been blessed. You know what? We started a Walk of Fame ayer.
I know, I remember.
Okay. All right. And then 4 years ago, they built a $12 million Performing Arts Center ahí in Edinburgh, in Roberto Villa High School, and they named it after me.
No way.
Hey, oh yes, yes.
Congratulations.
And I tell you what, like I told the people, it was just not done by me. It was done by all the teachers that helped me out along the way, because I was a migrant. I would get back in September, October, sometimes in November.
Now, please forgive me for interrupting you, but when it comes to teaching, you also became a teacher, no?
I was supposed to be a band director, but I traded a job con una amiga mía. I traded a job that paid $14,500, and the job that I got to teach elementary nomás era $7,100. Roberto, you're nuts. I said no, because they would not let me perform on the side.
Yeah.
But it was a blessing in disguise, because that's when they first introduced the bilingual program. And I changed everything around. The next thing you know, I'm lecturing migrant teachers allá en Montana, California, y aquí en Texas también.
Wow.
About what I did and how I did it, okay, and stuff like that. Pero you know what? I got sick. I got sick after a year and a half. Entonces I went to go see a doctor. Dijo, Roberto, it's going to sound very bad what I'm going to tell you right now. But you can't piss and shit at the same time. You got to pick one or the other. So I took my chances en la música. Not even my mom bought a record the first 2 years. But then all it took is just one song.
Okay.
And the rest is history.
What was the song?
Well, you know what? It was a combination. The Corpus Christi opened up the arms para nosotros. Tus besos te llegaron a recrear que mi boca, llenando de ilusión y me pasión mi vida loca, which is the same song that I recorded con mi hijo Bobby just from my own library. And that was a song that opened up la carrera para él.
I want to get to that, but listen, you guys are getting ahead of me. Oh, yeah. Who's the oldest, by the way, if you mind asking?
Roberto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roberto, Eloy,
No,
Flaco?
No, Robert, Joe,
Okay.
then my brother Joe, then me.
Okay, in between me and my brother Joe, tenía otro hermano
Que falleció.
que falleció, sí. I got run over by a pickup truck, okay?
Okay.
To my knees, entonces all the root endings to my body go to your feet.
Sí.
It affected my hearing. I have nerve damage. I have 60% hearing loss in both ears. Wow. Si me quito la hearing aid ahorita, no oigo ni fu ni fa. I started lip reading as a 4th grader.
Can you read this?
And I did.
Yeah. I'm kidding. Now, the brothers that I know are Flaco, Gordo, obviously, who's outside, Eloy, obviamente,
Y Joe.
Y Joe. Those are the ones, right?
Joe y Roberto.
Y Roberto.
Hey, but listen. My dad se llamaba Jose. He
Sí,
named
that's
all of us. Jose Roberto, Jose Junior, Jose Eloy,
So he
Jose
doesn't miss you
Robert.
guys.
Y me dice todos, I went to school with your brother Joe. Pues a cuál de
Which
todas?
one? Which one?
Yeah.
So anyway, you started Los Clásicos. Who came up with that name, Robert?
No, mira, I'll tell you what. I started in 1965 as a sax player. That's what I majored cuando estaba at the university, okay? Con los hermanos Layton, okay?
Ah, sí, Benny y todos.
Yeah.
De Aircouch.
Yeah, right. De Elsa.
De Elsa.
Yeah, anyway, como quiera. Y luego anduve con los dos Gilbertos 3 months, man.
Tocando saxofón con
Tocando,
Gilberto?
yeah. Hey, watch. I asked him for a $1 raise. Y me pagaba $5 y me dijo que no. Boop! No raise. So le puse guachuato. I mean, but those were the learning ondas para uno, ¿me entiendes?
So, de los dos Gilbertos, who would you go with?
Con los casinos de Cecilio Garza.
I love it.
Nunca jamás pensé llegar a querer.
Yeah. ¿Y luego?
And then 2 years later, that's when I started Roberto Pulido Los Clásicos.
Okay, all this time, all the brothers are in or no?
No.
Help us out. Help me out.
Actually, yeah.
Con Los Clásicos, I had the whole family working for me.
Do you have musical ability?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
I've got so much that it's, I can't, we don't have enough time.
Mira.
Mira, óyame, down duck, mira.
Hombre, mira, espérate.
Cántale mi pequeñito.
Espérate.
Un pedacito, hombre.
Déjame decirle la historia. It was in 1974.
I'm sorry, Judge. Please continue, Judge.
It was in 1974.
For those of you that don't know, Eloy used to be the Hidalgo County judge in Edinburgh. Yes, go ahead.
In 99 to 08, 03.
03.
Pero,
So-
see, what in 1974, before Robert actually got heavy into the music business, was I wanted to go to Vietnam. So I volunteered. I went, it was in April, and I went and volunteered for the Air Force. And lo and behold, I mean, had I known Robert was going to, make it big in the music, maybe I wouldn't have gone.
Make it big.
Well, you started. Well, and actually, I was stationed here in San Antonio when Robert recorded his first album, Con Manny Guerra, with Amen Records.
See, down the street.
Yeah. And David Lee and his whole brothers, todos, before they started the band, were there. And on I want to say the second album, estaban, ¿cuál es la canción, Roberto, donde vinieron los Royal Jesters?
Ándale.
Royal Jesters, vengo a cantar para ti la canción que aprendí a la orilla
del mar.
A la orilla del mar. And so the background voices towards the end of the song were the Royal Jesters, que, I mean, eran una chingonada.
Sí, sí es.
Entonces, and for me, it was like, but I was stationed here in San Antonio.
So yeah.
And then when I got out, I went back home and I started going to college at night, and that's when I started traveling con Roberto. Pues, y me encargaba de drive the bus and, the road crew and take care of the money and stuff like that. So, it was, and at that time, andamos todos los 5 hermanos, and my dad, mi tío Leonel, andamos como 5.
Que en paz descanse.
Que en paz descanse también, brother. And so andábamos.
Primos también.
Well, yeah, we had like 5 or 6 cousins on the road crew. So
That's
was
great, man. That's
all in the family.
Yeah.
That's great, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Again, you know what? I don't cease to thank the Lord, okay?
Sí.
Even though que my dad, que mi tío Leonel is no, you know what? In 3.5 months, I lost 4 uncles, un primo hermano y una prima, okay? And I said, what's happening?
My condolences.
And I remember very clearly. You know what? Decía mi tío Leonel, Roberto, ¿sabes lo que me gusta a mí de la muerte? Le dije, a mí no me gusta nada, tío. Dijo, no discrimina. Se lleva ricos, pobres, jóvenes, viejos, gordos, flacos. And the bottom line is this. Tenemos que vivir la vida like I said was the last day. One day at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time. And always, you know what, for whatever it's worth, thank God, si te sale el sol otro día, hermano, it's a blessing, okay? And so many incidents, hermano.
Oh, God. I shared quite a few. But anyway, before we get to those, Robert, when I asked you which was the first big hit was, for me specifically, I would say Señorita Cantinera. Oh, my God.
No, that came in 1990. That song came out in 1979. Okay?
Sí.
But before that, fue Ando Borracho.
Ando que no caigo.
I mean, you know what? So many songs.
The reason I got turned on to those songs was because when I got into radio, one of your biggest hits was the song from Rocío. Quédate conmigo.
Quédate conmigo. Esta noche.
Sí. I said, man, this is good. Let me hear some other stuff that Robert has done. And so I got Señorita Cantinera.
You know what? I have recorded so many. Well, I think it's 45 CDs or albums, as they were called back then. But one of the things that I always take pride in is that, you know what, hermano, yo todos mis compañeros de música, lo que fue mi compadre David Garza, Emilio Lavaira, Grupo Más, La Mafia, all those guys, I took them on the road, even La Sombra, whatever.
Sí.
And they would tell me, hey, Roberto, watch out, te van a tumbar. No, ¿cómo tumbar? I don't look at it like that. I look at it as a culture. Es muy importante que la cultura
avanzando.
Sí, para todos hay, hermano.
Así
¿Me entiendes?
es.
Tenemos que vivir como una familia. You be surprised. We go perform in Monterrey, Nuevo León. Man, they love Tejano music like you would even imagine. And, no me primito, órale, vétate la yabalaya, que esto que el otro.
Oye, ¿dónde salió el nombre El Primo?
My dad, he was my hero. And I remember as a youngster, I would go durante el programa de los braceros. I'm talking way back in 1954, 55. And my dad would refer to everybody, primo. Y un día le digo, oye, papá, ¿tienes muchos primos tú, vato? Dijo, no, mijo, suficiente ha sufrido nuestra raza. Yo quiero que esas gente se sienta como parte de la familia.
Wow.
Porque nos tenemos que cuidar unos con otros. A ver,
Killing me. That's hard, man. That's heavy.
Sí,
Go ahead, please.
pero y para los gringos y para los, con respeto, con los negritos, les decía Primo.
Primo.
Yeah,
Hey, Primo.
Yeah, because he had that English twang to it.
Yeah.
Hey, Primo.
Primo.
yeah, I mean, de ahí salió la palabra y luego, next thing you know, oye, pasa el primo Roberto. Y luego cuando me acuerdo yo, oye, ¿cuál es el nombre de este primo? Uy, porque ya se nos paramos las cabras, you know, todo para servir se acaba. Y como te dije temprano, man, you know what, I've had more operations than I don't know what. I told a guy una vez, you know what, I've been lucky because I'm alive, but I tell you what, if I were to buy a circus, my midgets would probably grow with them. So you gotta take it in one little time.
Dwarfs.
That's funny. That's funny shit. I've never heard that. That's funny. And I've heard a lot of them.
I mean,
Ay, Dios mío. You're
como
killing
con
me.
Jack Nichols, I wouldn't take you to the dog fights even if you was the reigning champ.
I love it. So Robert, listen. After that, all that success in the 70s and the 80s, did you take a little break, or you just weren't working, or qué pasó?
Are you kidding, man? Todo me dice Roberto, are you still performing? Hell yeah, man. I mean, ¿sabes qué? Se me suben las hormigas. I never thought, sí, voy a comprar esto, voy a comprar el otro. Ay, papacito, para mantenerte, para poder seguir adelante. Ey, a eso me estoy refiriendo. ¿Sabes qué? Dinero lo puede uno hacer todo, ¿me entiendes? Pero tienes que saber cómo administrarlo.
Sí.
Picas acaso, si no te chinga en pagos aquí que tengo otro, viene el gobierno y te deja chiflando.
Sí,
okay?
sí.
But you know what? Hay que darle para adelante, sea lo que sea.
See, if I can, para mí es bien importante because, you know, to me, to have lived this life, you know, with groups like Little Joe, I mean, that's, to me, how can you put it into words to have shared our world and our lives with people like Little Joe, like Joe Lopez, Grupo Más, La Mafia, and all these great musicians, y como dijo Roberto, como dices tú, because of the culture that they have brought together. Entonces, there's nothing you can compare it with. But as you mentioned, Roberto, and not because he's my brother, but he's always maintained. He always maintained, and I'll never forget. I believe it was 1981 cuando tocamos. ¿Te acuerdas, Roberto, que anduvimos? It might have been 83. Cuando salió Carlos y José con el Chubasco.
Oh,
Sí.
And we were touring California, and then we went to Mexico, where the last night in California was Sunday. It was in L.A., and I think there was a total of about 14,000 people.
Yeah.
And they were charging $35 pre-sale, $50 at the door.
This was in the 80s.
Yeah. Okay, but I'll never forget because that was the biggest dance hall that we'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And we at that time we were driving 2 buses and a truck.
Wow.
And we parked them all inside.
Inside the
venue.
Inside the venue. So that night after we finished, of course, Roberto had 3 or 4 number 1 songs within the previous 6 months, algo así.
¿Cuáles eran?
Era Oh Gran Dios, La Barca de Oro, Pedida, and so, but we didn't know the popularity or how, because of course we didn't have
The internet.
right.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
But I'll never forget because when we left, Roberto and my dad came in the bus con Ramon y con Servando Cano.
Sí.
And so we were driving back, and it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. We're leaving.
Sí, de los Dodgers, ¿no? El juego de los Dodgers, ¿o no?
Yeah, cuando estamos in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
But the point that I want to make, and I'll never forget, because we're driving back, and it's like 3 in the morning, and all of a sudden I felt like a shimmy on the bus, because I was driving the first bus, and my Primo Cesar was driving the second one. And I said, Cesar, back off a little bit, because I think the transmission's getting ready to go on the bus.
Uh-oh.
Y dijo, oye, Primo, yo también. Of course, this was on the CB.
Sí.
Dijo, yo también, dijo, I think, because I felt, and I said, So we kept driving and we felt another little change. So dijimos, pues nomás síguele. In other words, man, let's hope nothing happens to the bus. Well, the next morning, I want to say we stopped, no me acuerdo, it was in Tucson, por ahí. And we read the paper because one thing about us is we're newspaper freaks.
Go ahead.
And we looked at the paper, but it was an earthquake that we had driven through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so we said, so we thank God that it was an earthquake. I don't know how good that sounds, but and it wasn't the transmissions on the bus. And then we came home, and I think we stayed a couple days, and then we went to Monterrey and anduvimos, ¿te acuerdas, Roberto, que anduvimos con Ramón? And that was on that trip where Roberto was presented the key to the city of Monterrey by the Presidente Municipal.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Though? My motto has always been, la de José Alfredo Jiménez. Yo quiero vivir y yo quiero morir como muere mi pueblo. The Lord gave everybody a gift, okay? Muchos nacieron para ser estrellas, otros para ser estrellados, otros para ser mecánicos, otros para ser maestros y cosas así. You have to enjoy for what you do, okay?
Sure.
Y la verdad de las cosas, again, no me canso de darle las gracias a Dios a my upbringing, and I'll tell you what, con lo que me ha bendecido, all right?
Sí.
Porque a finales de cuentas, nacimos para morir, ¿ok?
Así es.
Y lo que sembramos aquí en este mundo es muy importante. Hay que seguirle dándole las mismas instrucciones y los mismos ejemplos a nuestros hijos, nietos, bisnietos, para que nunca se les olvide dónde vienen.
Qué buena onda. Oye, Eloy, you mentioned a little while ago de Little Joe y todos los artistas. ¿Cómo sucedió los tres amigos?
Mira, let me answer that, okay? You know what? I remember, and I tell Little Joe Roberto Ramos y todo eso, when we were working en La Sandía y todo eso, I remember turning on the radio and listening to them. I never, in my wildest dream, expected que one day we would share esa amistad que tenemos de hermanos,
sí,
¿ok?
Sí.
Ok, la canción esa de los tres amigos, te voy a decir. En paz descanse un compadre de mi hermano gordo, que viene siendo Miguel Luna.
Okay.
Fue el que compuso esa canción. Entonces, me dio la canción esa, and I sat on it for more than 6 months. And then I started thinking, you know what a better onda que los pioneros, que yo no me considera pionero ni nada de esa onda. La canción así se llama, Los Tres Amigos. Entonces de ahí salió la canción esa, ¿me entiendes?
Sí, pero ¿cómo juntas con Little Joey y con Rubén Ramos? How did they come about into the project?
Because I'm the one that called them and asked them if they would want to be included in esa canción.
And did they say right off the bat yes, or did they think about it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I told them the story, todo eso. You remember Paloma el Gorrión, right?
Sí, claro.
Okay, Miguel Luna, que tocaba el acordeón, may he rest in peace.
Sí.
He's the one that composed the song.
Right.
Okay. And he also composed también la canción esa, Me Jugaste Chueco, the one I sang a little while ago. He was a great composer, a great humanitarian,
singer.
okay? And cuando tocábamos en Monterrey, man, he would take me back and forth y todo eso. In other words, we had a close bond.
Sure.
Okay? En Monterrey, por decir, man, you know what? Es una cultura diferente. But man, I tell you what, if they like you, te siguen hasta la muerte.
Oh, sí, eso sí es cierto. When you recorded the song, did you think it was going to be that kind of hit? Because it was a smash. ¿A poco no?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know what? Everything que you record and stuff like that, lo tienes que grabar, pero con fe.
Sí.
Con ganas. Because in all reality, you never know what the people are going to really esperar, whatever. You know what? And I don't want to change the subject. AC, I'm having a blast, and I thank you very much for inviting us to come aquí en este programa. Lo que te quería decir era esto, mira, on the 19th of January, aquí en San Antonio, en el Event Center, we're going to celebrate 45 years de andar en la música como Roberto Pulido y los clásicos, ¿ok? Queremos invitarlos a la raza que nos gusten acompañar. And again, si acaso se pueden acompañarnos, ahí los esperamos, primeramente Dios, ¿ok?
Great. Listen, I do want to talk to you about when you and I went to a certain ranch. I don't want to mention the ranch because we'll get in trouble for
Not
mentioning.
me.
I'll never forget when you invited me. You said to me, AC, I want to invite you to my lease. I said, está bueno. Where's your lease? If he says, todo 281.
The Long Sendero.
And the logs in there.
You know what?
Oh yeah.
I used to be an outlaw back then, okay?
Oh yeah, no. You were public enemy number one.
No, but you know what? Let me just correct you a little bit on that, okay? The people might own the land, okay? But la gente of the state of Texas, the game is para la raza, okay? In other words, everything that I harvested, it was put to good use.
I will attest to that only because when Robert invited me to his house, first of all, he's got an awesome trophy room. Your trophy room is spectacular.
Okay, now
no.
Let me
You
have not been there. You have not been there. Let me just explain.
Can I talk, please? Can I talk, please?
All right.
When you say you take everything and you make good use of it, you killed a new guy. Now, for non-hunters, killing a new guy is a hard kill. You have to hit it right, and it's pretty skittish, so it can run on you. Sometimes you have to hit him on the run, but nonetheless, remarkable because it's like a cow or horse with horns, and it's big. Basically, it's big. It's a big ass deer. But anyway, you cook new guy guisado. Salió con madre, güey.
Hermano, let me tell you something. La comida del monte es más saludable que toda la comida que compras en las tiendas y
I'm
cosas
telling
así.
you, I'm telling you.
It's a steroid free, toda esa onda, okay? Es original.
You're the one that taught me about the backstrap. No, hombre, the backstrap. From that point on, every deer that I killed, I always said, you know what? You guys can have everything else. Leave me the backstrap.
And you know what? There's a lot of people that would not eat a jabalina. Me and Bobby, that's number one. The female, it tastes like a cabrito. And it's white meat.
But say, do you remember that time that we're talking about Primo? The guy's name was Boy.
Yeah.
Boy. Okay, he had a bunch of perros.
We used to hunt
But
hogs at night.
no, we'd hunt hogs at night with spears, Robert. Spears. I said, dude, I'm an adrenaline junkie, but hogs with spears? Hell no, I gotta get out of here, man. Yeah. But yet I was the announcer. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with dogs. Que la chingada. I said, I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. Please.
I never went because I thought it was stupid.
It is.
Yeah. De ahí bien frío, in the middle of nowhere, lloviendo, and then you had, and chasing hogs with dogs, and then go poke them with a damn spear?
With a spear.
Yeah.
Y tú y Bobby, encanta la vida.
But you know what?
Loving it.
It was a rush. Este little Joe
I know it's a rush.
Ruben Ramos y little Joe dijeron, Primo, something's wrong with you upstairs.
No shit.
No. I'll tell you what. You do the rule of the hunters, whatever you kill, you're going to eat.
I remember when we went to this place that I was talking about a little while ago. We went to this place. They said, okay, AC, we're going to give you to kill a hog. You can take your hog. That's it. Robert, you can take a deer. Nothing lower than 8 points. Robert said, okay, cool. So anyway, I killed my hog with no problem. Luego, boom, killed my hog. Y luego, you shot a damn turkey that we tracked for I don't know how long. We didn't find the turkey.
Oh, yeah, we found it.
No, we did not. We didn't find it.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever, we found it. Just for you to say anyway. Don't look at me laughing. Anyways, check it out. We're leaving, and the sun is going down. And Robert says, wait, hold on. I think I see something. I thought I saw it too. No, but he jumped out of my truck. Boom! He killed this deer. He went over and saw it. I went with him. Now, mind you, my headlights are on my truck because it's, like I said, it's sundown. Y luego, it was a 6-pointer.
Hey. Yes, hey, that's why the I'm sorry and excuse me were invented.
Wait. So I said, oh shit, Robert, we're in trouble, dude. We're not supposed to get anything lower than 8 points. He pulls out his knife right there on the spot. He field dresses that deer within 5 minutes, at least, maybe less. But anyway, he takes the deer meat or the actual carcass, and throws it in back of my toolbox, como si nada, in my toolbox. Y luego, la hilera llena de cerveza y hielo. He takes it and throws it in my toolbox to keep the deer fresh.
Well, but it worked. It was very good tasty, you know?
Robert, you kill me, man.
Hey, por decir, every deer has a story that we have mounted.
Oh, man.
Okay. I mean, y no por nada.
No me la cambies, dile, no me la cambies,
No.
No. That's what I mean. And then we finally we leave this ranch. The game warden is at the end of the road. How'd you guys do? I said, I just killed a hog, nothing else. Anyway, had he looked in my toolbox, we would have been screwed, man.
I tell you what, that's why the Lord takes care of people that are doing something that's beneficial, not just for the people, but for the ranch.
For nature, ¿verdad?
For nature, yeah. Because you have too many of one species, se van a enfermar.
Oye, Judge.
Yeah.
Do you buy this? Do you buy this at all?
Oh, no.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Es como dijo mi primo. I wouldn't shit you about my favorite turd.
Wait, stop. I wouldn't shit you. You my favorite turd?
Yeah.
I love it. I never heard that one. Check out one of the ones that I picked up off of you on the morning show. It was me and Max, and you were there doing the morning show with us. It was you were promoting the new CD, and you said, "Hijos de su chiflada raza."
Hey, but I mean, you know what? I don't know. I think it
was
you. I think it was you. They go, hey, baboso. He didn't turn out de donde salió en el aire.
That was me. Yeah, that was me and Max. That was me and Max. Oye, tú, Eloy, has Robert always been like that?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yeah. No. It's been an experience, bro. But more important, como uno dice, the life that we've lived has been a blessing, total blessing, even though we remember as young kids, bro, cuando no había comida,
¿Sí?
You know, cuando abrías la hielera and there was maybe a little jar of mayonnaise and maybe a couple bologna slices and some maybe some lettuce or some cabbage.
Sí.
Y pues that's all we had. In other words, times were tough, but at the same time, you know, I think that taught us how to appreciate and how to work hard.
Sí.
Este Roberto no por nada, but I remember when we used to pick cotton, él y mi tío René and a couple other guys se arrancaban piscando algodón, and before you knew it, they were at the end of the row, y ya venían para atrás con la saca llena.
Sí.
And the same thing en Durazno, cuando andamos en Durazno, la uva. So I think what our lifestyle, I wouldn't trade it for anything, brother.
Yeah.
For nothing, not for all the money in the world.
Now, I don't want you to think that I'm going to let you go on hunting, because I went hunting with you también.
Yeah.
You see his eyes got bigger.
A ver, desembuchate.
Sí. Oye, te voy a decir ahorita. Fuimos a un rancho que está afuera de Farfurias, casi llegando del Valle de Farfurias.
Rachel, yeah.
Sí, en Rachel.
Yeah.
Y I saw a bobcat. By the time that I got my gun ready, it took off on me. But you, what did you see?
Cuando andábamos en el rancho de Lío, yeah. Pues vi un venado, but you know what? That was that time that we saw que iban la gente cruzando, que iban cruzando, and one of the ladies had a little baby, yeah, and they were crossing through la derecha, and I remember that, you know, se asustaron, and I remember when we went back to the camp, because it was right by the checkpoint, just south of the checkpoint. Entonces, pero no se me olvida, and I believe we gave him some food.
Yep.
We gave him some food and we gave him some water, porque, pues, you know, I mean, but at the same time, y por eso, si lo que está pasando ahorita con la caravana with what I'm a social worker by education. I have a degree in social work, pero yo como digo, eso no tiene que nacer del corazón. Because it's about people, it's about struggles. It's about the struggles that our grandparents went through and our parents.
Sure.
And for us to all of a sudden turn a blind eye and think that they don't deserve a better life is just...
no es justo.
Sí, no es justo.
No es justo.
Pero más importante, it's hypocritical.
Right.
And to be a hypocrite and say, no, they need to go back to their country, Hey, espérate, está como there's a picture Gordo, my brother Gordo sent me, que dice, American born with Mexican roots.
Yeah.
You know, y es un árbol grande.
See?
And that's who we are. You know, we're Americans, but our roots are Mexican. Vienen de Mexico. And I know that there's a lot of people who say, no. Well, my parents were born here in the United States.
Yeah.
But it used to be Mexico before.
I love the one that says, I didn't cross the river crossed me.
Yeah.
You remember the song que compuso Merle Haggard? American ranching consists of a mansion where illegal immigrants do much of the labor by hand. They sneak up through customs, time comes to bust them and take them back over the border to their own native land. With a ragged sombrero and not much dinero, he will be back again when the old Rio Grande is down low. Border patroller, don't stop the stroller, cause the Mexican immigrant is helping America grow. What makes the gringo? He smarted the lingo when he stole his land from the Indian man way back then. Don't he remember the big money lender that put him a Lincoln Park where his pinto had been? But the almighty peso that gives him the say-so to widen the river whenever there's crops to bring in. Is this a good neighbor that takes all his labor and takes him back over the border till it's needed again? People of Mexico, go where they let you go. Do what you can for the land. Take home dinero, buy un sombrero, and come back again when you can. I mean, le hacen la lucha a lo que se pueda, okay? A little while ago, you mentioned the turkey, and before I split, let me tell you what, man. I took a course in turkey calling. Can I give you a demonstration?
By all means.
Turkey, 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 turkey. It works every time.
I was shit you not, you my favorite turn. Robert, so listen, man. You're talking about a new song that you recorded recently. And are you working on a new CD?
Right now, te voy a decir la verdad que I have it on hold.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something with a symphony, okay?
Really?
Yes, but what I want to do with this song, I want to include all the styles of music a lo que tenemos ahorita nosotros de la música tejana. En la misma canción quiero ponerle mariachi, quiero ponerle trío, quiero ponerle tejano, and of course, quiero ponerle norteño, banda.
¿Diferentes canciones o...?
No, la misma canción.
A la madre.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what? You have lost your mind.
Yeah.
You have lost your mind.
But 50% of that money is going to go to Roberto Pulido Music Endowment, and the rest of it is going to go para pagarle a los músicos los que quieran cooperar con eso. And if they want to donate the money for the endowment, is more than welcome. Okay? Huh?
That's an interesting concept.
To teach and educate our kids de dónde viene la música. Meterle también la música de cumbia. Two-step. Why not?
Okay.
In other words, the sky is the limit.
See, you know, as a matter of fact, my wife and I were talking about the other night. Of course, you know my wife, Mari.
Mari.
And we were talking about why is there no teaching of our culture, de los Tejanos, you know, we used to have American history, Texas history, but never the history of los Mexicanos in Texas. And what better place to start than San Antonio? You know, we have the Alamo here.
See?
I mean, how historical can that be?
And they used to call the Mexicanos Tejanos.
Yeah.
See, they used to call it. Go ahead, please.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that somebody pick up a banner and say, you know what? We need to teach our kids the history of los Tejanos and los Mexicanos.
Sí.
And how, you know, Seguin and all these people, they talk about Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie and all these, Stephen F. Austin, y todos, you know, it turns out that pues realmente eran criminales. Entonces, but never any history or any knowledge or any teachings of los hispanos, los mexicanos who defended the Alamo and all those, and the history of South Texas, because I think that is where our kids are losing out on that education.
Hey, see, I just want to tell you, thank you very much, hermano. We're going to have to run because we still have to go to the valley.
No, first of all,
okay.
First of all, you need to answer this for me, okay?
I'm married. Talk to me.
I know she. Diana, how's she doing?
She está renegando aquí. She's okay. I mean,
Okay, how's Mark? Mark, ¿está bien?
as a matter of fact, you know what? He sells hearing aids.
See?
Yeah.
Okay, and Alma?
She is doing fantastic. Me trajo mi primera nieta. I got 6 drinks and 1 piggy bank de nietos, okay?
Okay, bueno. How's that beautiful home that you have?
I was going to tell you que back then, I guess the last time que you were there, the game room, I mean, cuando tenía la
trophy room.
oficina y todo eso,
Sí.
now that's a game room, okay?
Okay.
Then we built, where I had my horses,
Yes.
we knocked that down and we built a shop allá atrás.
When you first built it there, that beautiful home that you said, I'm out here in the country, and they go and build a school across the street.
Across the street, they built a high school. Jeez. Oh, boy.
But real quick, another thing that I have to share with the listening audience, I love it because one morning Roberto says, when you get off the air, come pick me up. We'll go have breakfast. So I show up in my truck, pick him up, let's go. Él en botas, shorts, tank top, y luego con un cowboy hat. Vámonos así. Y luego, let's go, Robert. He said, hold on. And he reaches right there in his front yard, Chile Pekin. Y luego fuimos para Guerras, his cousin's restaurant there in Edinburgh. In that baby jar were his Chile Pekins.
Well, I tell you what, that's what makes me sing so high. Haven't you heard those mockingbirds like...
Anyway, I know you got to go. Once again, it's coming up in January.
The 19th.
It's the 19th of January. Please tell me everything that's going to happen. It's the 45th year celebration of music.
Anniversary.
Now, some people say it's retirement. You're not retiring. Please tell us no.
I owe too much money, but I still gotta keep singing. Yeah, no. You know what? As long as my goddaughter takes care of my voice and the health, of course, I'm gonna continue because we do it for the love of music.
You know what? Mike Gonzalez, Jimmy Gonzalez's son, said the same thing. How did you feel about that when you heard the passing of Jimmy Gonzalez?
I'll tell you what. I saw Jimmy about 2-3 weeks before he passed. What can I say? He's in a better place, man. Okay, he's in a better place, and his legacy will continue. Como te digo, I mean, ellos han puesto su branding iron en la música tejana y cosas así. Like so many other también músicos, okay?
Que pases descanse Jimmy González, ¿ok? Hablando del baile, ¿quién va a tocar? Obviamente tú, tu hijo Bobby, ¿quién más?
Mi compadre David Garza.
David Garza.
Los hermanos, los Test Tube Babies o los hermanos.
I remember that.
Los hermanos Villarreal.
No, los Desperados.
Y las leyendas.
Los Desperados.
Las leyendas que también viene.
Sonia Osuna.
Freddy Martínez. Y luego también Agustín Ramírez. Joe Bravo. Y luego también vienen, los Gamblers.
Gamblers.
Yeah.
The younger generation.
Oh yes, they're
kicking ass.
Oh yeah, they are
kicking ass.
And claro que we're gonna have también como invitado a mi hermano también aquí en San Antonio, a Genaro Aguilar de los Aguilares.
¿A poco?
Yes.
Oh my God.
You know what, man? Those guys. I met him way back in 1973 when I first started my career, and ever since then, we're family.
Wow.
You know,
wow.
I mean, como te digo. Hay tantísimos compañeros de música que, ¿sabes qué? Hemos hecho una amistad de hermanos. Tenemos que cuidarnos unos con otros porque nunca sabemos cuando, ¿sabes qué? Se va a necesitar la ayuda. And if you can help somebody out, why not? You know, God, in the eyes of God, we're all created equal. ¿Me entiendes? And if you can give a lending hand to somebody, why not?
Robert, thank you so much. Eloy, thank you so much, man.
It's
been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure seeing you again, brother.
Likewise,
it really
man.
Is.
You guys take care, and I'll see you in January.
Primeramente Dios. Mira, before I leave, you know what you get when you cross an elephant with a rhinoceros?
I can only imagine why.
An elefino. God bless everybody. Que Diosito me los cuide y los bendiga a todo el mundo, ¿ok? Pórtense bien, que nada les cuesta. Y si se portan mal, no dejen de invitarme.
There you have it from the Primo. If you're going to misbehave, don't forget to invite him. What A pleasure to see those two guys, Roberto, Eloy. Oh my goodness gracious. Hope you like the show. I know I enjoyed doing it. Anyway, Jackie Lynn, thank you. Romeo from thehoundnation.com, and thank you. So you know what time it is. Time to chill to the next episode of the AC Cruise Podcast. Much love, be safe.